Elizabeth Harrell, Parks and Recreation. I'm here to talk about the funnest department in the city, Parks and Recreation. I'm going to start with our department purpose. This is our official statement, but I'm going to read you the unofficial version. We are the fluff, the fun makers, the memory makers. We make people smile, laugh, sometimes even cry, happy tears. We are also the only city department to have their own TV show. The bottom line is we are important to the community for the quality of life that we add to the city. In addition to having fun, though, we also have goals that we need to meet for the city council and the citizens. And over the next year, we will specifically work on these 3 goals. Develop a long-range plan for parks, libraries, and arts. We're going to identify and hire a consultant to help us develop a long-range parks master plan. This is something that the department has not had in quite some time, so it will be beneficial for us as we develop our roadmap to the future. This will be funded out of the 4B quality of life. We're also going to identify opportunities for green space and recreational amenities in areas with limited access to parks and open space. We've already begun this process with the initial planning phase of the Copeland property, 21-acre regional park with the following amenities: dog park, playground, spray ground, natural walking trail, and a picnic pavilion. Phase 1 more than likely will include the addition of the dog park. So then we'll have a dog park in the north area and then a dog park in the south. And then lastly, 6.3, improve community involvement in cultural recreation programs and activities. While we do this now, this is something that we can always get better at and continue to do. So we'll partner with community organizations to offer special events and activities that specifically highlight cultural diversity. How do we achieve these goals and our mission? Well, we use staff, and we have a lot of it, a lot of great staff. We have 3 divisions that help us achieve these goals. We have parks, recreation, and golf. And I did not include golf in this report, just so you know, because you are getting regular quarterly reports. So I'm not going to talk specifically about golf today. Without these staff, we would not be able to do what we do, especially the addition of the part-time staff that we use in the summers for camps and lifeguards and things like that. So we rely very heavily on our part-time staff. This chart here demonstrates how our funds are divided between the different services that we provide. 45% of our budget is for parks, maintenance, and staffing, while the remainder goes to recreation facilities, programs, and staff. Our direction has always been to provide affordable programs and services for residents, and I believe we do a good job of that. When it comes to parks, we have a very robust and diverse system. There are small neighborhood parks, a lot of them adjacent to schools, and we have larger parks with several amenities such as athletic complexes and swimming pools. It's also an honor this week to have one of our parks recognized with a historical state marker, which is City Lake Park. We had a great ceremony this week, so I was happy to be a part of that. I added a reference here for acres mowed in-house and acres mowed by contractors. We have 37 full-time park staff, and they're very busy throughout the year. So we do have a lot of acres to maintain throughout the city, so we do have to use contractors to help us get the grass mowed. And we are going to be looking at whether or not it's time to bring those services back in-house or to keep paying the contractors. Unfortunately, the contractors' costs keep rising, and at one time it was cheaper to outsource that service, but now we're seeing that we're kind of making this shift, and it might be time to consider bringing some of those services back in-house. But I just wanted to point out that parks are a great equalizer for our community. They cross classes, ages, races, income levels, and interests. You don't have to be anyone special to enjoy a park. And parks become the choice that makes cities desirable, not just livable. And I think that's important, and we do provide a very good park system for Mesquite residents. Facilities also play a key role in the quality of recreation, and we're fortunate to have 4 recreation centers. Some people will think 5, but we consider Good Bar Recreation Center more of a reservation facility and a senior center, so we don't really classify that as a recreation center. Over the last year, we recognized the need to extend weekend hours, and so we're now open on Sundays. We made some adjustments in our weekly schedule, so it didn't cost us any more to do that, but we expanded our service and our reach in the community, and now kids can come play basketball after church on Sundays. We offer a lot of affordable classes, and then one thing that I like to point out is that for $75 a year, you have access to top-of-the-line fitness room and the most up-to-date equipment. We have made a transition to new software, and so we are currently in the process of trying to find the best way to keep track of the number of people that are coming into the centers. So over the next couple of years, we'll be able to have a better idea of how many actual visitors we have to the centers. But right now, with the change from one old, outdated software program to a new software program, the numbers just didn't jive. So I didn't provide that information for you today, but we will be able to do that next year and then years after. Another important service that we provide is for the ages 50 plus. We have 3 different senior centers, and a hot meal is served daily at 2 of the centers. And for some seniors, this is the only hot, nutritious meal that they will get in a day. So that is a very important service that we provide. It's a partnership that we have with the Visiting Nurses Association, and then we also receive some federal grant funds to help offset the cost of providing that meal for folks. Staying busy is also important, and staff does a great job of programming a variety of activities and trips. And one thing that staff wanted to point out to me this year was that for 3 trips per month, the average annual cost per participant is only $108. So I know it's kind of wordy to say, but so a senior can go to the center and take advantage of all of the trips and activities that we have. 556 of them are free, but if they're going to go on a paid trip, it's only going to cost them $108 per year to take advantage of some of these trips. So I was happy to see that. And the staff does a great job of going to really unique places. Sometimes I read the fun guide and think, wow, you guys are going crazy, but they go shopping or they go to the movies or they do fun things like that, and they really seem to enjoy it. So another important service we provide is our community is full of working parents, and so we think it's important to provide 52 weeks of kid care. So during the school year, we have after-school adventures for only $90 a month. This is a recreational program that provides a safe and fun environment until parents can get off work and get their kids picked up. And one thing that we've noticed, we've experienced kind of a slight decline in our participation figures, and after doing some research, we can attribute it to 3 changes that MISD has made. So MISD added their own after-school program, which in comparison, theirs is $260 a month. Theirs is kind of more educational based, where ours is fun based. We do provide help with homework and stuff, but theirs is really focused towards academics. And then they did remove the ESL program from Mackenzie and Shaw Elementaries, which we have 2 sites there, so we saw kind of a decrease in the kids that were attending our program there. And then also with 6th grade moving to the intermediate campuses, that again pulled some kids out of our program, and so we did see a decline in participation there. Still, for $90 a month, you're still getting a great program. For the remainder of the year, to help parents with their kids, we have a summer camp program, and this is an excellent program at, again, a very affordable price. It includes themed camps as well as field trips and trips to the pool weekly. And as a comparison, private businesses for summer care are anywhere from $125 to $200 per week, where again, we're at $90 for a resident and $100 for a non-resident. And just as a note, the recent fee increase that we just did, we did include both of these programs in that fee increase, and so we added $5. Summer camp, we'll see that fee increase this summer, and then ASA, we will add that increase. It'll be $90 starting in the fall. So we'll evaluate what gap we are still having to subsidize that program once we have those figures. But we continue to climb in participation numbers for our summer camp, and And again, staff works very hard to create these themed camps, so you're not just warehousing kids, as I like to call it. We want them to have fun, and we want them to enjoy their time with us, because for some of these kids, these are the only trips that they'll go on. Their families can't afford to take vacations. Their parents just work all the time. And so I try to remind the staff that this experience that we're providing for kids, for some of them, it's the best that they'll get. So we need to make sure that we're on point doing what we're doing, and when parents show up, their kids don't even want to go home because they're having so much fun. Youth and adult sports is another program need that we meet in the community. And in addition to the city's volleyball and basketball leagues, we are fortunate to have the assistance of 5 different athletic associations. These programs help to introduce and develop young athletes to a variety of sports, and adults can continue to relive their youth through our adult sports programs. All of these activities are affordable and accessible, and we also like to consider the partnership that we have with MISD, and we consider a lot of our programs as feeder programs for what becomes their sports programs. So it's an important relationship between us and the associations and the school district. So another great service that we provide in our outstanding park facilities. Aquatics keeps us extra busy in the summer, but also affords residents a place to cool off, exercise, or learn how to swim. We have 3 quality and well-run facilities that remain affordable for families. Down here at City Lake Aquatic Center, if you're a resident, you can swim for $4. We've got a water slide, and it's not uncommon for us. We have a capacity of 500, and we'll max out pretty easy on that. People get really annoyed when they have to wait to get in. And while the operation of Vanston and Town East Pool are subsidized, City Lake Aquatic Center covers its costs at 100%, including staff, which is pretty unusual for a municipal swimming pool. So we're doing things right down there. So within our great park system are many reservable spaces for people to gather. Citywide, we have 55 spots, both inside and outside, to host a variety of events, and I've listed some of the activities that are common that we see come through the office for reservations. Recently at Camp Roy Galloway, we renovated that facility to accommodate larger groups, and we're hoping eventually even outdoor weddings. And with all the rain that we get, it also helps with the pond, and we get to use the kayaks that are actually out there. So it's all kind of weather dependent out there. But again, all of the reservation fees were adjusted with this recent increase that we did to try and help close that gap of subsidy and revenue. And so we're already seeing some positive direction in that with the numbers that we're reporting just as of June. But again, I want to emphasize we did not go really high on our reservation fees. We're very affordable, and we made sure that everything has a non-resident fee, which was important, but you can still reserve our facilities for a very reasonable price. Okay, there's a lot of information on here, but one of the things that is my favorite things to do is special events. And well, even when it's 28 degrees outside and we're trying to host a parade, it's still fun. Staff does an outstanding job with all of these events for the budget that we have. And I think it was important to note everything that we do. I know that people know that we're busy and that we stay busy, but I think when you put it in this table format and you show like April, we kind of call our hell month, but we get through it. You know, we muscle through. And June, we look forward to Summer Sizzle. I mean, we really look forward to all of them. And staff is very passionate about what they do. They're very excited about the events that we do. We try to add different things to each event. Excuse me. We try to add different elements to each event going into it. And for example, the fun run that we have in September, we've had that for about 6 years. And we've gone around with what do we do? We tried a hero run one year, and that wasn't it was kind of popular, but sorry Cliff, that was your idea, but so then we tried to do like a mini mud run where we made obstacles and people come out. Well, I don't know if you know Yvonne, but she's our special events coordinator, and this year she's so excited because we are having the Guts and Gory Zombie Fun Run out at Camp Roy Galloway. So we're utilizing that great facility out there that doesn't get a lot of attention other than summer camp, but we've got a mile and some kind of trail out there. She's got zombies planned. She's partnering with the Army. The Army's coming out, and they have this themed, you're going to have like tents, and you're going to check in, and you're going to have missions. They were explaining it all to me, and they're just super excited. So while we try to, again, keep things affordable, and I really think we do keep things affordable, we extend that to our special events as well. And if we have a kids activity area, an all-inclusive wristband is going to cost you $10, and they'll be able to ride every ride that we have. We do collect revenue. And I guess I should add that overall, our budget for all of these special events is about $100,000. That does not include Summer Sizzle and Christmas in the Park. Those have a separate budget. But for most of these events, you're looking at $100,000. And again, staff tries to make a lot of positive changes. Each event has their own special budget, and we stay within budget. But I'm going to say it's a good return on our investment. Okay, we are fortunate to have the ability to fund a majority of our capital improvement projects with the use of the 4B Quality of Life funds. And this list represents both the completed and some ongoing projects. Due to funding constraints and rising construction costs, we've had to take kind of a phased approach to our projects. And it does sometimes feel like it takes us a while, but we do get them done, and I think the tennis center is a good example of that. We also have to add into the mix trying to maintain our aging infrastructure and balancing new projects and existing needs. So sometimes that can be challenging. It did help us. We have always used the 5-year CIP plan, but now with the city manager's direction of developing that 10-year CIP plan, we've made just that step further to try and incorporate both our new projects and then our ongoing maintenance needs, knowing that stuff is going to change. And this plan does become a working document that changes as needs arise and prompt either immediate repair or replacements, such as a pool pump, sunshades, or playground issues, like is the case here. Town East playground surface replacement was not originally on my plan for next year, but that surface, it's a rubberized poured-in-place surface, and it has failed to the point where it's become a safety issue. And so we've had to move that up on our schedule, and so now we've added that up here. And so that's just a good example of how we have to address maintenance in addition with our capital improvement project needs. And as you can see, the first one is the Park Master Plan, which we are all looking forward to doing and developing that roadmap that will help move us forward. I do not have any budget offers this year. I feel like we're doing a good job with the general fund dollars that we have, and then of course the 4B money. So I've instructed staff that we're just going to carry forward with the money that we have, and I feel confident that we can do that and still provide the outstanding customer service that we do. So in closing, I would just like to share what I use to remind the staff, and they all get this little handout here. We carry it around in our little pad folios. But our efforts can be seen on each one of these people's faces. And probably my favorite one is in the top left corner. That's Miss Vivian, who at 94 years old, on her bucket list was to ride a zip line. And so she went out to Camp Roy Galloway with the senior group. She was in the senior center programs, and she rode our zip line out at Camp Roy Galloway. And I had the pleasure of meeting her a couple years ago. Fabulous lady. But this is truly why we do what we do. And sometimes when we get bogged down in the day-to-day things, I like to actually work those special events as a reminder of just the sheer joy and the fun that people are having, and knowing that we, our department, our staff, our efforts, our pain, or whatever has gone into helping people to have a good time and create these lasting memories in this community through our facilities. We are full of great staff who's very patient and they want to be here and they want to do a good job. And I believe they do a good job, and it shows through our events and our facilities. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, great presentation. Comments, questions, Councilman Archer?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Do we, I think we talked to Mr. Kahili before about this, but do we, and I know you talked about a master plan, but do we have some type of diagram or something that shows what the needs of each park are? Not that we can necessarily get to them all right now, but, you know, for example, a few months ago I was over at Rugal Park, and it's still got that old tennis court and some different things over there. Do we have something that says here's what each park is lacking or what it needs?
I think maybe internally we all kind of have an idea, but that's where the park master plan is really going to play a key role in really identifying those needs and prioritizing those needs. Park staff will report back with, hey, you know, we're to the point now where this is outrun its useful life. We have a good parks project manager, Bob Blankenship, and he goes out and he identifies needs in the parks as well. So we are trying to chip away at some of those. But as of right now, no, we don't have an actual plan that I could give you.
Sure. And you feel comfortable about our sports fields upkeep? That's going smoothly?
Absolutely.
Okay. What do we have on the weekends in terms of kind of oversight? Things like, and I call it customer service, whether it's pavilion bathrooms or here a while back I was over at Hamby Park, and there was a couple of sections where the grass was pretty high and the sprinklers were going, and I think Mr. Kahili said there was an issue with the timer because of the recent storms. But do we have somebody that's checking all the parks on the weekends?
Well, at Hamby Park, that project is still under MISD's control. We haven't assumed responsibility for that.
Okay.
So we wouldn't have been checking those timers. We do have litter crews that come in on the weekends, and they look for stuff. And then we also have a weekend custodian who comes in and does trash. And then if there are issues, especially with reservations, people are directed to call water dispatch, and then water dispatch knows how to get hold of. We have staff on call based on their particular areas, and then of course if they can't reach any of them, then I get the phone call.
So on a given Saturday, if somebody's using the pavilion, if they're one of the big complaints I get is that restrooms are often in bad shape, especially like at Pascal. How do we normally handle that, or are we involved with that?
Well, our weekend custodian should be coming in and addressing some of those restrooms. But again, it's one guy, and based on the need of what's going on and if we've got issues here, he can get pulled in many directions at one time. But if there is an issue, and we can ask customers, we can put that on their receipt, you know, for issues with the restrooms, call water dispatch, and then we can make a call and have someone make a special trip out there if it's really bad.
And so just to clarify, so the new Hamby Park that we're seeing so far, that's all being handled or being overseen by the district right now?
Yes, sir. It was part of our exchange of property. The school district gets a new school, and then they construct the new park for us. And at the time of the issue, it was still under the contractor's control as they were building the new ball fields and redoing some of the paving out there.
Is that going to fall to us at some point?
Yes, absolutely. That becomes our responsibility.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And just to follow up with that, sir, we did, after we were made aware of the issue, we did reach out to MISD and just ask them to get the grass mowed and to watch the sprinklers.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you, knowing that we have increased growth to the southeast part of our city and the developments that are going on out there, and that the Rutherford Rec Center is pretty much the final one going out in that direction, when we foresee perhaps having a summer camp out there besides the Rory Galloway, or a rec center, or maybe one of the elementary schools that would have something available in the summer. When we foresee that in the near future, we have a lot of kids, Creek Crossing, Falcons Lair, Ridge Ranch will be developing, and then further on down the line, but needing something out in that area.
Well, we currently have a camp at Rutherford Recreation Center. There's a summer camp that operates out of Rutherford, and then also the one at Rory. We could possibly talk to the school, and I don't know if Auxigger would be an option or not to house another program. Again, I think that's where the Parks Master Plan will come in and help us determine where the growth is going, where the needs are, what we can fund, different things like that.
I noticed in the budget that there was $0 for a day camp at Auxigger. And I was thinking, is that going to be a discontinuation, or I didn't know if, but Auxigger does have a day camp during school year, right?
Oh, after-school adventures. Yes, it's in there. We still have a program there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I saw that in there, and I was just wondering about if it was going to continue or not. But there is something out there for Auxigger.
Yes, sir. We have an after-school program there.
Okay.
Yes.
So as far as developing something either at Thompson or at Auxigger, if we can look at that would be great. Just to have something out there for the youth in the summer, occupy them, reach them. I think there's a great need out there.
Now, are you referring to just accessibility into the building, like for free play, or you mean you would have a coordinated summer camp program?
A coordinated summer camp program.
Okay. I'd have to look at what the numbers are for Rutherford. I don't think we've reached capacity there, so we would probably start there. Sometimes we have to use Thompson if Camp Rory Galloway gets rained out. So we do use that facility some for that, but that's an idea that I can look into.
That's great. Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, good. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Just one other question. I wasn't going to ask about that. It is too late? Oh, my gosh. The swim team, there's a swim team, Marlin swim team, and the budget for that, and
We do have a summer swim program in coordination with the MISD swim coach, Dustin. And so we run the program, I think it's from June until the end of July. And there is funds budgeted in there for that program, and it's pretty successful. It continues to grow. Dustin took over, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and we were in the low 100s, and now staff's reporting that we have 183 swimmers in that program now
great.
this summer.
And that's just during the summer.
Yes, sir. They have started a small fall program, which is kind of a carryover. That's a good example of a feeder program for MISD. So Dustin is getting these kids in the summer and developing that interest and grooming them. And as they get older, then they move forward and carry on into his school program.
Great, thank you.
I had a quick question.
Okay.
If he's, yeah, we'll all just jump on. You said there's $100,000 that gets spread over the calendar year to do all the great functions that you guys sponsor. Help me put that into context. What's the cost of Christmas in the Park and Summer Sizzle?
Christmas in the Park is about $68,000, and Summer Sizzle we have at $102,000.
Okay, and that's with or without the revenues that come in?
That's
from-
just the expense that we have budgeted.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.